On this episode of the Globe Sports Corner, our sports crew helps to introduce Luke Wagner, the new head coach of the GC softball team. And now, for the first time in Goshen College athletics' long and storied history, the school has an official mascot to hype up the student section. Check out the Globe Highlight of the Week, the Student Everence Athlete of the Week, and your Maple Leaf Minute, all in the Globe Sports Corner. Welcome to the Globe Sports Corner. I'm Dante Stanton. We'd like to kick off this week's show by wishing a congratulations to the Goshen College men's and women's cross-country teams, as both are currently ranked inside the top 25 in the nation, according to the NAIA's latest coaches poll. All 5 runners that the Leafs sent to the Bethel Cross Country Invitational on Friday also posted season best times. Looks like another bid to nationals could be in the Maple Leafs' future. And speaking of the future, the new head coach of the Goshen College softball team has arrived, and Luke Wagner is looking to keep his team in tip-top shape following a record-setting 2022 season. Gabe Commode has the inside story.
There's a new face in the athletic department this year as the softball team has a new head coach. Luke Wagner was hired this summer after the exit of the previous coach.
It's always a lot to do when you have a coach that leaves at the beginning of the summer, since all of our student athletes are coming back just a couple short months later. And it's also like finishing up the recruiting period too. So heard from the previous coach, that she was taking a different opportunity and had to turn around right away and figure out, all right, our next steps.
Athletic Director Erica Albertine gave some insight into the hiring process.
Got a really good pool of applicants, and we were able to jump in and do the interview process in the middle of the summer.
One of the complications about this process was being hired over Zoom.
Summer and our team being from all over the country, we did have to jump into the Zoom aspect instead. So it's a little bit different, but I think with COVID, people are getting more used to being on Zoom. So we were able to work through that, and I think the student athletes and the team still got a good feel for the different candidates and their preference of who their head coach would be.
Coach Wagner is focused on rebuilding this program from its core.
The coaching philosophy is kind of trying to allow athletes to be unique and to continue to be themselves.
After the program tied its wins record last year, there are high expectations for the team. That being said, the program is positive they're moving in the right direction.
So right now we're still in the process of really solidifying that foundation, but it's going much quicker and much smoother than I had anticipated. And so that's kind of where we're at. The philosophy is just kind of put some certain things in place without really taking away what makes that student athlete special.
I'm Gabe Commode reporting for Globe Sports.
Luke Wagner for sitting down with us. Coming off such a successful season, I'm really excited to see what Goshen can do with that young core of players. Now, and while Gabe Commode helped to provide us with a look at the future of Goshen College athletics, several members of GC's past also returned to campus this weekend for homecoming. Included among this year's distinguished alumni was Katie Sowers, a GC grad and former assistant coach for the San Francisco 49ers. Sowers was one of 2 alumni to receive the Goshen College Champions of Character Award. She also participated in the Goshen College women's basketball alumni game. And coming up next, we'll sit down with the head coach of the Goshen College women's basketball team, Stephanie Miller, to discuss the past and again the future of GC athletics.
It's tomorrow, right?
Welcome back to the Globe Sports Corner. I'm Dante Stanton. With me now is the head coach of the Goshen College women's basketball team, Coach Stephanie Miller. Coach, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here in the studios. And I want to talk a little bit first about last season. You hit overall on your career at Goshen College, 100 wins. It's quite the milestone. How did you feel following the win, and where are you at now?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really. I was not aware. I saw that came out. I wasn't really counting. I guess that's probably something coaches usually do. But How did I feel? I have mixed feelings. To me, I felt like it really wasn't something personally that I had been venturing towards. It was just a collection of great players I've had over time that have helped us get to that point. But also, it really kind of, the positive part, the smiles come from like, wow, okay, there's some longevity there, some consistency in the program. That just means, when you've been here a long time, it means two things. You're kind of old, but you've also provided maybe a little bit of stability and some consistency, like I said, within the group. So it was an honor.
And kind of speaking of consistency and stability, you had several players moving on, a lot of seniors, Janara Flowers, Kiara Copeland, Grayson Cockerham, Denise Chapman. What was kind of the emotion like? Because some of these girls have been with you for all 4 years.
Yeah. I can never really describe, if you're not in it, if you haven't been in it, what it feels like when you graduate kids after 4 years. To me, it's kind of like, it feels like sending a parent off to school or somewhere away. You watch them really change and grow, and not just within your program, but just as people, and like the way that they came to you is so different, when they leave. That sense of pride, sense of joy, sense of sadness a little bit in terms of not being able to have them in your day-to-day life anymore. You miss them, and you just feel like a proud parent. So when I watch them graduate, I take too many pictures. They get annoyed and think, oh, come on, coach. But then they always want the pictures. They always ask me, oh, can you give me that shot? Can you give me that shot? But, overall, I know what we lost. I'm 100% aware of what they gave to the program and how much they invested in the program from a win-loss, but also just again, stability standpoint for us. But also, in a sense, once a class leaves, it also opens up opportunity for new ones, and the excitement that comes from another group that gets to put their mark on it as well.
Now, we've mentioned some of the seniors moving on, but there is a fifth year who has decided to stay, Emily Brandeberry.
Yep.
So she's going to be going into her fifth year now. What are you looking forward to seeing out of her this season? Because she certainly got some good playing time last year.
Well, so Emily is here for a couple reasons. Number one, she really was excited and invested in that transition to teaching program. So she knew, like a lot of students who have their fifth year available, she's using her COVID year is what we call that. And it gave her an opportunity to get a teaching degree. So that's first and foremost with her. If everybody that knows Emily knows that she is the 100% great role model for kids. And honestly, just again, when I've used the word stability maybe a little bit today, but she is an anchor for us a little bit in terms of who she is and what she represents. So she's very strong, very physical. She can definitely rebound and play defense. And what she really brings to us the most is just some locker room leadership. The kids really look up to her, and when she speaks, they're listening.
Incredibly valuable piece to this team. Still in the past a little bit here now, but instead I kind of want to go way back, but also just to this past Saturday at the same time. The alumni game was this past Saturday. What was it like to have so many old faces back inside the Rec Fit?
Oh, it's just a wonderful day. Like when I think about it, I just smile because to me, it's almost a little emotional because you feel split, torn, like my allegiance. I'm coaching my team and I'm trying to get them ready, but then I'm seeing all these faces and all these kids who mean a ton to me. Every person that walks in the door, you're wanting to catch up and hug. And I think the best way to describe how I feel on a day like that is just it's a big pride point for me. I feel gratitude and pride that the kids who played here, it mattered to them. They don't show up if it didn't matter to you. So it's a sense where it's almost like a reciprocal giving back, giving to something that maybe, is just bigger than themselves. Like when you're coming for the alumni game, you're coming to see the people you played with because that time was important to you, your coaching staff, your teammates. But you also, I don't know if I want to use the word responsibility, but it's almost like they carry a weight of wanting to come back, to give back, because when they were there, that's what they saw. So it connected the present with the past. And I think there's a cool continuity and culture building effect from that.
That's amazing. You get to almost a calling once you get past a certain stage in life. That's fantastic. Talking about a little bit about this season and some of the freshmen that you've got from last season coming into this year who are coming into the sophomore season, Kyla Foster, Kiana Oling, Zoe Zellers, Sayam Muhammad, just to name a few. How have you seen them mature and grow in this past offseason?
I think it's a great place to be when you come into a program with talent, but you also have an older class to look to. So that freshman class was a big class, but as much talent as they had, they also had, tremendous leadership and scoring ability, and just, the captains were all seniors. So they got to look up to Grayson and Denise, 1,000-point scorers, all conference players. Janara Flowers, years of quality experience. Kiara Copeland running our point. So as much as they were contributing, they also really got to learn the ropes. And so instead of getting thrown to the wolves, their talents could be used, but there wasn't a ton of pressure on them at that point. So what I've seen change is now feeling a comfortability to sort of step into some bigger roles. And man, have I watched a lot of competitive kids in the gym lately, because with the mass exodus of a good group that, ate up a bunch of minutes, also becomes the competition to find out who's going to step in and be the next in line.
Well, game one is coming up in late October. I mean, it's just a few weeks away at this point. What's been the biggest, kind of the biggest practice prep that you've been running into the mines and into those drills for the women this season?
So we are a team that prides ourselves on defend, rebound, and run. And we're scattered with that right now. We definitely have been focusing on defense first. And when I say scattered, kids I think when they get into a position where they need to prove themselves, I think it's been ingrained in a lot of their minds growing up that proving yourselves means you score. Scoring, there's such a, you're in the paper for scoring, you're not in the paper for defensive stops, right? So like as a coach, that's bothersome, because I know that it takes a little bit more defense than offense, but the kids don't necessarily feel that until they're on the court in prep when the coaches are harping on them. So we've spent a ton of time with pressing and just defensive fundamentals that lead to rebound and then push. We want to score in transition. We want to be fast. We definitely have a deep group with a lot of different potential players to explore. We're explosive, we're exciting. We're a little all over the place, trying to settle it down and be able to play fast, but also under control. So those are the things we've been working on. Obviously, we're throwing in our offensive sets and working on game situations, but mostly we've been really hammering in those three things of defend, rebound, and run.
Plain and simple, Coach, you ready to get back out there on the hardwood?
I'm the minute it ends, I'm already thinking about what's going to happen next year. So I've been thinking about it a long time, but I am really excited. There's a great energy about this group, and it translates in the players, but also in the coaching staff as well.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck coming up this season.
Thank you.
We'll be on the first call.
I bet.
Excited for it.
Yep.
We're going to pull a play from the coach's playbook and call a timeout. When we return, it's time to dash to the student section for a look at Goshen College's first official mascot. That's next on the Globe Sports Corner.
I'm getting my degree from the college named TV School of the Year 3 out of the last 4 years. It's not in Muncie or in Indianapolis. I attend Goshen College, and communication is just one of the 35 outstanding majors offered here. At GC, you will work with professionals and get your hands on the camera in your first semester on campus. How do I know that Goshen College was the best choice? Right after graduation, I start my first job, broadcasting professional baseball. Take the next step towards your career.
Since Goshen College opened its doors in 1894, the school has gone without an official mascot. While there have been a bevy of unofficial mascots over the years, none have really stuck until now, as the athletic department made its biggest push yet to put a mascot in place. Michiana, meet Dash. That's right, Maple Leafs. For the very first time, Goshen College Athletics has an official mascot in the form of Dash, the black squirrel. But with the arrival of Dash, GC's unofficial mascot is passing on his acorns.
Yeah, my career's done. I think it's time to retire.
Thankfully, Dan the Squirrel Man is a big fan of what Dash can do.
I think Dash is kind of embodying everything that I wanted to be and then some.
And while Dan will sorely miss his role, he's okay with the change for one big reason.
But having backing from administration and from the school itself, I think takes that up to a new level.
As a sign of good faith, Dan even offers some advice for whoever steps into Dash's big purple shoes.
Just have fun with it. Don't be scared of looking dumb. Don't be scared of looking like a fool. I was a fool. I made a fool of myself in this thing too many times to count. But that's where the fun is.
But one question remains about Dash. Who's under that big giant squirrel head? Whoever it is, Dan isn't telling.
Maybe I know. Maybe I don't. But, it's the kind of thing that's squirrel lore. You know, you can't fully understand it. You can't really know if you're not one of us.
While the identity will remain secret for the time being, the athletic department has plans for future reveal.
I hope it will be a secret up through graduation. Then when they graduate, they can wear, part of the mascot, probably the shoes like across the stage at graduation, and I think that would just be a really fun moment.
Something to note about Dash, he's on the quiet side.
So Dash isn't allowed to make noises or yell or cheer, where some of the older mascots, the unofficial ones, were really like those vocal leaders. So this mascot, really exaggerating on some of the different moves that they have, but kind of trying to bring that fun.
And don't be surprised if you see Dash out in the community.
Should be making some appearances in the local schools as well as at a lot of our athletic events.
According to GC students, Dash is already going above and beyond to embody that GC spirit. Reporting for Globe Sports, I'm Dante Stanton. So happy to see Dash interacting with not only Goshen College students, but visiting others in the community as well. Stick around. We'll have a look at our Globe Highlight of the Week, Student Everence Athlete of the Week, and cap things off with the Maple Leaf Minute. That's next on the Globe Sports One.
I work for the best college radio station in the nation. It's not New York City or Chicago, it's Goshen College. Our broadcasting program is just one of Goshen's 35 outstanding majors. At Goshen College, you will work one-on-one with top professionals and get studio time in your first semester. You can call a game from the playing field or broadcast from a downtown radio studio.
How do I know Goshen was the best choice? Right after graduation, I'll start my new job as a radio morning show co-host. Take the next step in your broadcasting career.
And here he goes. The kick is in the back.
That was your Globe Highlight of the Week, courtesy of Seth Smith-Kaufman on the call. This week's Everence Student Athlete of the Week award is named to Matias da Fonseca, goalkeeper for the men's soccer team. And let me tell you, he deserves it. This past Saturday against Bethel, the Pilots unloaded 25 shots against Goshen with 18 shots on goal. Da Fonseca registered 17 saves. Great season so far. He's currently second in the Crossroads League overall with 59 total saves. Great work, Matias. Keep it up. Let's take a look now at this week's schedule for Maple Leaf Athletics. Women's volleyball kicks off this week at home on Wednesday in a Crossroads League match against the Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats at 6 o'clock. They'll be back at it with doubleheader action this Saturday against the University of Michigan Dearborn at 3 o'clock and against Indiana Tech at 5. Men's soccer hits the road on Wednesday, traveling to the other GC, Grace College, as they look to grab their second conference victory of the season. They'll remain on the road for Saturday's match against the Taylor University Trojans. And finally, you can watch two women's conference matchups this week on 91.1 The Globe. First, this Wednesday, GC takes on Grace at home under the lights with an 8 p.m. start time, and then Goshen battles Taylor in primetime this Saturday at 7 o'clock. Both games will be featured on 91.1 The Globe, as well as the Go Leafs live stream. That wraps up this edition of the Globe Sports Corner. For more Globe content, check out our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at 91.1 The Globe and globeradio.org. For all of us at Globe Sports, I'm Dante Stanton, and thank you for watching. Tune in every 2 weeks for more Globe Sports content. Have a great week.